Babe of the day. Babe of the day. Lee Meriwether. This woman is so awesome. She just gets it for me. Lee Meriwether was always a great actress and stunningly beautiful, but thankfully, without any pretension. I don't want to name names, but there have been a lot of glamorous actresses with attitude. That doesn't come out in Lee's performances or public appearances. She seems genuinely likable and plays likable characters. She started off her career as a beauty queen, working her way up to Miss America in 1955. Just like that, she went to being a Today girl on NBC's The Today Show from 1955 to 56. Lee had started acting in 1954, appearing on the Philco television Playhouse a total of 3 times. Without a doubt, though, her Miss America win and Today Show stint brought her visibility for more acting work. Throughout the 1950s, she appeared in many TV shows, but in one-shot appearances. Lee's first movie came in 1959 with 4D Man, and she was the female lead. 4D Man was a science fiction movie. Although not one of the best-known movies of all time, it did fairly well in theaters and has a cult following today. It also showed off Lee's potential as a leading lady, and her career definitely went on the upswing after that. From 1960 to 62, Lee got her first regular role on the soap opera The Clear Horizon. She played Enid Ross, and the show was about astronauts and their wives at Cape Canaveral, Florida. This particular soap opera was not a smash success, and it ended in 1962. After The Clear Horizon, it was back to guest spots in numerous popular TV shows. One of my favorite roles she did during this time was in the 1965 episode of F Troop called O'Rourke vs. O'Reilly. She played Lily O'Reilly, who was Sergeant Rourke's equal when it came to swindling. The end of the episode seemed to promise a return to the character, and she would have been great to see in the show on a recurring basis. Sadly, this never came to pass, but Lee Meriwether played one cool lady when it came to Lily. 1966 was a very eventful year for Lee. She got her second regular role in the science fiction TV series The Time Tunnel. Sadly, the show only ran for 30 episodes through 1967. It performed well enough in the ratings, but the show became a victim of network politics. ABC dropped The Time Tunnel in favor of a new western, The Legend of Custer. The Legend of Custer flopped terribly and was quickly forgotten. The Time Tunnel, on the other hand, quickly developed a cult following. 3 attempts have been made to reboot the series, but none were successful. Also in 1966, Lee got one of her best-known roles as Catwoman in Batman the Movie. When the Batman TV series came out, it was a smash hit. Julie Newmar had played Catwoman in 2 episodes near the end of season 1. By the time the movie was being made, Julie couldn't appear in it due to a back injury. Lee Meriwether took on the role and did a really, really good job. She was easily the highlight of the Batman movie. I've mentioned before in previous videos that I'm not the greatest fan of the Batman series. I love the character in the comics, but I always found the TV series to be too over the top and corny. There were cool things about the show for sure, but I do think they needed to dial it back. I really enjoyed Lee Meriwether in this movie because she helped bring Batman back down to earth. Plus, she was just as hot as she could be in that costume. Yow! Lee had been around a while before Catwoman, and I do believe, just by the sheer amount of work she had already done, had achieved some name power as a Hollywood actress. Once she did Batman, though, Lee Meriwether was definitely a name actress, no doubt about it. Julie Newmar returned to play Catwoman in 11 episodes of Season 2. Apparently, the cast and crew must have enjoyed working with Lee Meriwether because she was brought back, as a different character, in 2 episodes of Season 2. She played Lisa Carson in the King Tut episodes. The deranged villain thinks she's really Cleopatra. 1966 was not yet done with Lee. She got another major movie role in the family film Namu the Killer Whale. Although it didn't leave its mark on the public like Batman or The Time Tunnel, it established her as a movie actress for quite a streak that lasted through 1973. After Namu, it was more guest roles on TV and more supporting parts in movies. The most significant one of her movies at this time was Angel in My Pocket from 1969. It was a comedy movie starring Andy Griffith as a reverend, and Lee played his wife. The Andy Griffith Show had ended in 1968, and he wanted to do movies. It had that same small-town, rural flavor that his popular TV show had. However, Andy did not like the movie, and it wasn't a monster hit in theaters. He did, however, like working with Lee Meriwether. In 1971, they would work together once more on the TV series The New Andy Griffith Show. I'll come back to this in a bit. From 1969 to 70, Lee was in the TV spy series Mission Impossible. She was one of the replacements for Barbara Bain, the girl of the team, who left after season 3. Lee was the only one who made more than one appearance, appearing as Tracy in 6 episodes. Before she played Tracy, though, she played a different character in the series named Anna Rojak. Anna was a supporting character in a 2-part episode of season 3, when Barbara Bain was still in the show. What's interesting is that in the second part, Bain's character of Cinnamon pretends to be Anna and wearing an Anna mask. So actually, Lee played a dual role in her 2-parter appearances. By season 5, though, the show chose Leslie Ann Warren to play the girl character of Dana Lambert. So Lee's time on the show was brief. Seriously, though, Lee was a perfect choice to play cool spy women parts. I think Hollywood missed its mark by not using Lee in more spy adventure shows. She definitely should have been in a James Bond movie. After Mission Impossible, it was back to more one-off roles until early 1971, when she became the female lead of The New Andy Griffith Show. Lee played Lee Sawyer, the wife of Andy Sawyer, who was played by Griffith. This is a rare show to see anywhere, for the simple fact that it didn't last long. Only 10 episodes. That is a real pity, because this show had legs. It was a lot like the old Andy Griffith Show. Once again, it was set in a small town in North Carolina. This time, though, Andy was the mayor of the town. He was a happily married man with a little boy and a little girl. The girl, named Lori and played by Lori Rutherford, was especially good and had a lot of personality. The boy was fine too, but I don't think the show lasted long enough to properly showcase him. Characters from the old Andy show would make guest appearances. Really? I just saw this show as a continuation of the old Andy show, and a much better one than Mayberry RFD had been. Lee played a good housewife and mother character, and I thought she really worked well with Andy. There was chemistry there, and from the jump, I thought the show was great. It really wasn't given a chance to succeed. It's a shame, because Lee sparkled in it. More one-off parts came and went after this, but 1973 proved to be another eventful year in Lee's acting career. She was in the Western comedy movie The Brothers O'Toole, playing the mean girlfriend of John Aston. That movie did well in theaters, but nothing would do as well for her as her next role. Lee took on the role of Betty Jones in the detective series Barnaby Jones. She was the female lead of the series, opposite Buddy Ebsen, who played Barnaby. This was a long-running series that ran until 1980. Lee's character was actually the daughter-in-law of Barnaby who worked for him. In real life, Lee and Buddy were very close friends. From the time they first met, they knew they were going to work well together. As the story goes, Barnaby was a retired detective who left his firm to his son Hal, Betty's husband. When Hal was killed on a case, Barnaby came back to the firm to solve his son's murder. After he did, he decided to keep the firm going. Out of all the shows Lee Meriwether was a part of that didn't take, it was amazing that this one did. Before this show, Buddy Ebsen was the star of the Beverly Hillbillies for 9 years. If there was ever an actor who was typecast, he was it. Barnaby Jones was a major departure from the Hillbillies. It had action and drama. Barnaby kicked some tail. He also knew that he was too old for this thing, but he was the only one who could do it. In a lot of ways, Barnaby was not a typical private eye. The show ran for 8 seasons. Lee was a big part of the show's success. Barnaby Jones was a big thing for Lee's career, and I think she would have done it forever if it hadn't been canceled. She wanted a reunion movie pretty badly, but Buddy Ebsen, who was quite a bit old, didn't want to do anything that physical again. Lee worked constantly after this, and was always a prominent guest star in various TV shows. But her next major role wouldn't come until 1988 with The Munsters Today. This sitcom was a revival of the popular Munster show from the 60s. Lee got the choice role of Lily Munster. It ran for 3 seasons, 1 season longer than the original series. Lee did really good as Lily. If Yvonne DiCarlo had to be replaced, Lee Meriwether was a good choice. I really like Yvonne DiCarlo, so that's saying a lot. Her next real big part after this came with the soap opera All My Children in 1996. She appeared on that show through 2011, playing the character of Ruth Martin. The 2000s didn't show any sign of Lee slowing down. She started doing movie roles again, which she hadn't done since The Brothers O'Toole in 1973. She also still worked heavily on television. In 2003, she did a cameo as a waitress in the odd TV reunion movie of the Batman TV series called Return to the Batcave: The Misadventures of Adam and Bert. This wasn't her last nostalgia trip with the Batman franchise. In 2017, she did a voice in the cartoon movie of Batman vs. Two-Face, done in the style of the 60s TV series and featuring Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar reprising their roles. The next year, Lee appeared in a fan film, Rise of the Catwoman, shown on YouTube. From 2012 to 2014, she was one of the leads in the weird horror series Project Phoenix, playing Birdie Spencer. To date, this is the last regular role she has had in the series. When asked about her Hollywood career, Lee is very satisfied. She worked a lot, got some great roles, and considers herself one of the lucky ones. Lee is not one of the tragic Hollywood stories you always hear about. She has been married twice. The first marriage produced 2 daughters before she got divorced. Her second marriage has been going strong since 1986. Lee's looks, acting talent, and the way she carries herself makes her a true professional, a Hollywood legend, and a Babe of the Day, Babe of the Day.